Hey there guys, welcome to Anthony Reviews, where Anthony reviews. And today, as we did previously on my channel, we looked at all of my Superman action figures. We're going to be taking a look at the other side, looking at Gotham as opposed to Metropolis. We're looking at every single one of my Batman action figures that I own. Now, a lot of the Batman figures I have, they're kind of a match to my Superman, but then I have some that are just on their own. So let's go ahead and start off the same way we started off with the last one, shall we? So first up, we have the Justice League Unlimited large 10-inch Batman figure. So this is very similar to the Superman one. Of course, it's based off the Bruce Timm Justice League design. He's got the long ears; they go way up. He's got a sculpted mouth, but it's not painted. So if you look at it right, it kind of looks like he's smiling. See, like that? Doesn't it look like he's smiling? But it's Batman. He's not. Whatever. He's got the animated Justice League symbol. Nice yellow belt, same articulation as before. You know, he can raise his arm to say bang 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 or something. I don't know. But he's Batman and he looks good. For all this is, you know, it's basically a big Batman figure statue almost, and I think it works perfectly fine. But moving on to a different kind of Batman animated figure, we have the Batman animated series from DC Collectibles here. And as you can see, this one is based on the animated series depiction as opposed to Justice League. So not exactly the same design, but, you know, same character, same universe, if that, kind of, you know what I mean? So this Batman was actually the Batman that came in the 2-pack with the Mask of the Phantasm 2-pack with the Phantasm and everything. I like this figure quite a bit because I love that movie. I love this depiction of Batman, particularly the animated series, more so than maybe some of the later versions like New Adventures and Justice League and everything. So you got the nice swoosh of like the collar piece, and the cape looks great with the blue in the interior. He's got a similar thing going where it looks like they just didn't paint the mouth. I don't know what the deal was going on, but this Batman's kind of got like a plain mouth too. It's almost like they just didn't paint his teeth. I don't know. It looks weird. I mean, I guess you don't see it too often if he's just on a shelf and you're not really looking for it, but you know, it's just a little odd feature, I guess you could say. So we have the Batman old school, I guess old school. It's coming up on old school when you think about it. You think old school and you're like 80s, no 90s, no early 2000s. And so we have a Mattel pre 6-inch line, sort of superheroes line, or you know, DC Universe Classics pre that. This came in a 2-pack with the Superman we saw in the last video, and he's got a bit of a grimace. He's got detailing on the cowl, which is kind of unique to certain Batman figures. He's got those long ears, which is kind of similar to the one up there. But talk about that grimace. I mean, this looks like an early 2000s Batman for sure, I will say. Big ridiculous belt though. What even are those? What is he carrying? Just stuff, I guess. Not a whole lot of articulation. But you get the basics, you know, for a kid to be playing with this guy. You can, you know, give him the boot. Yeah, I don't know. Nice cloth cape. It's a little jarring going from cowl to cape, but I guess you don't notice it too much. This has the opposite effect of the other figure, where it has the blue on the outside and then black on the inside. So I guess it's kind of interesting. But either way, there's Yellow Batman. I kind of like his stature. I kind of like the way he looks. I do have another figure similar to that one, but we'll get to him in a little bit. So next up, we have the first of, well, just two, but the first Christian Bale appearance of Batman. So this is his figure, his action figure from Batman Begins, because this is, you know, they still make action figures for movies that may or may not really be for kids, because this is Batman, and he looks a little tan. And this is, of course, based on his Batman Begins, so he's got like the big bat symbol and more of like the muscle look to him. I quite like this suit, and I like it in action figure form. It looks really good. I don't know what it is, but I dig it. Something about this. It still looks like the Christian Bale Batman with like the cowl, the way it's sculpted and everything, and the shape of the ears, and you have that utility belt. Articulation is pretty basic, of course it is, and unfortunately, unlike the returned Superman figure, you can't get him in a Jesus pose. I guess you could get him in like he's got a fight you pose, but I guess that's appropriate, you know. Batman's not Jesus. Superman is Jesus. Batman is somebody else. Whatever that means. Let's jump ahead like a decade or more. Actually, no, just a decade. We have the DC Icons Batman figure. This, of course, is the DC Icons line that lasted fairly shortly, but had a lot of figures, I guess, if you think about it. But, you know, it's good. It's a good figure. You know, it can't exactly stand next to your Marvel Legends. And it has its downfalls, but overall, I like it. It's Batman. And it's a nice sort of modern Batman without going too modern. You know, there's this era of Batman that's still technically modern-esque, because it's not retro, but it's not like New 52 or Rebirth. And I like this Batman. I like the blue. I like the symbol and everything. This is a Batman figure that I feel like Batman collectors should have. Despite the fact that it doesn't fit in with every sort of, you know, other line, I think it's good on its own. Come on, Batman. There you go, buddy. And so, of course, moving on from Batman Begins comes The Dark Knight. So, as you saw before, the cowl is a distinct feature for these Batman cowls, which is funny because that cowl's technically different. It's supposed to be like the one that's just a solid piece, and this is the one that can move. But you know, an action figure, you want his head to move. It's fine, no big deal. This is a pretty good representation. It's the Movie Masters. You guys remember Movie Masters? It was a line that you could have the movie figures. They were on a slightly smaller scale than the standard DC Universe Classics at the time. I don't know why they did that, but they did. And I mean, this guy's good. He's got all the detail, and you know, he's got the cape. You know, the Bale cape often looked more slender and sort of pushed back like this. It is kind of funny because that one was a cloth cape, and now we've got this like plastic cape going for him there. But you got the color differentiation on like the armor and the belt, and you know, it's good. Now, I think technically this is a Dark Knight Rises Batman, but I mean, it's the same suit, so you really can't tell that much. It's fine. I'm just gonna put you over there for now. Why not? Alright, let's go back to the animated universe, shall we? So this figure is actually an original from my childhood, and this is the New Adventures of Batman figure. Now, this is not the cape he comes with. I think this cape is actually, and I could be wrong, but there are clues. I think what I had was these, it was like a Bruce Wayne to Batman figure. I had two of them. There's an orange one and a red one, and I had both of them, but now I don't have either of them. And this was like a cape that had the cowl attached, and you put it on the figure, and he became Batman. But I think at one point I just cut it off so that this Batman could have like a normal cape. And so yeah, we have New Adventures Batman. He's got the New Adventures symbol, and he's kind of like a silver. I don't know if there's like a variant of some sort. Maybe he came in like a pack. I honestly have no idea, because like I mentioned before, this is legitimately from my childhood. You can tell by like the scuffing and everything. He's got a big hole in his back to put things in. Maybe he came with some sort of glider system. Yeah, so there's Batman. He's pretty cool. Let's stick him here, maybe? Sure. Okay, moving on, we have the first of many DC Universe Classics Batmen. And so we have here the sort of black bat symbol Batman figure with the yellow utility belts with the little triangle piece there. So this figure was one of the figures that really, I wanted this figure. This was the one that I wanted. It made me want to get into collecting DC Universe Classics. And it took me years and years to get it, and I finally got it, and I'm happy that I did. If you watch the video back on this channel before the relaunch happened, I go into a bit more detail on that. But yeah, this Batman is just, I don't know, I wanted a quote-unquote modern Batman, and so at the time, the modern symbol, of course, was this big, sprawling Batman symbol. It was, I knew it from like the Arkham games and things, because I wasn't really into comics. I just like toys and like cartoons and stuff. But I finally got this figure after years. Very, very happy with it. I think the only two ways you could have gotten this figure was from the 2-pack with Robin, and then a single carded at one point, but I don't remember exactly when that was. But I really like it. It's the definitive Batman, in my opinion. And so definitive Batman, you go in the back, because that's fair. He's the definitive. Stick him in the back. Moving a bit back in time for that figure, we go for, I guess, what people would actually consider like the definitive 6-inch Batman, which is the DC Superpowers Batman. So for those who don't know, before Mattel did the DC Universe Classics, they had the DC Superpowers line. And much like Toy Biz at the time, it was very, highly sculpted and detailed and painted, and you can see like in the detail on the gloves and the boots and the shading and the suit. I mean, look at that. Look at that face. It's funny because this Batman to me is, for those of you who watched it, maybe you did, I don't know. I sure did. Was the I'm a Marvel and I'm a DC Batman. So I see this Batman and I see him like hanging out with Spider-Man and all sorts of stuff. Like that's what I think of when this one comes up. But he looks really great. He's got the big, like, quote unquote realistic looking pouch, and like even his boots are detailed. Like this is a really look at bat symbol on the boot. What do you need that for, dude? But he looks really good. I like it. He looks like he looks a little like he could see he should see some sunlight. He looks a little decrepit, probably because he's painted on a blue head, and so that white is being a bit pale, unfortunately. But I still really dig it. I like this figure. It's not my favorite Batman, but I'm very happy to own it. I know there's a black variant of this as well. I don't have that one, unfortunately. But you're gonna go back here. Let's brighten things up a bit, shall we? So we have next is the, what was this line called? Batman Legacy? Batman something? I don't know. Now that I think about it. It was a line in 2011 which featured exclusive Batman figures. And at Toys R Us, when you pre-ordered, or I think it was just purchased actually, I don't know if you had to pre-order it, but when you purchased Arkham City, you got this Batman figure. And so what this is this is the Mattel Arkham City Batman figure, but with a classic sort of Neil Adams-esque paint job. So you have the big yellow symbol and the black on the mask, and it's blue, and it's got the trunks, and I mean, this is really cool. This is a weird figure, but I could never sell it, because every now and then you go through your collection and you think, do I need any of these? What are some items I could get rid of to help things out? This figure, though it doesn't have like the best articulation really, and he doesn't really fit in scale with the other figures, and he's like an Arkham realistic Batman, but he's all blue and stuff. He's a little weird, but that's kind of why I love him. I love his big cape. I love the color scheme. I love how big the symbol is. I love this guy. I really, really do. I wish him nothing but the best. And he's great. He's really awesome. So I recommend, if you can find this figure, and I don't know how expensive he is, honestly, I'd recommend you get him. Because he's awesome. I'm going to stick him back here. Once again, I feel like I'm bouncing all over the place as far as like theming and direction. So going from a Mattel colorful, confusing figure, we have a figure that is absolutely one of my favorites. We have the DC Direct Batman Incorporated Batman. Now, this figure was a figure, much like a lot of these, I'd wanted for a very long time, because it was the modern interpretation of like the classic yellow symbol and gray suit. Like, it was that guy from my childhood, but made badass, And so I really, really dug this. I was happy to see the yellow symbol back. That's Batman to me, and I'm sure a lot of 90s people would think that too. With Burton, the iconic imagery of the yellow symbol in the animated series, of course, that's Batman. And so seeing this guy, and he's got like the detail of the suit and his gauntlets, and he's so just like, oh, Batman. I love it, and I'm so happy that I own it. It's one of my favorites for sure. And once again, it's a DC Direct, so not a whole lot of articulation going on, but enough. It's enough. It's a DC Direct. You're not buying like a super articulated import or something. It's enough. Okay. Moving on. Back to Mattel. We'll go a little bit past Incorporated and go into what is known as the New 52. So here we have the metallic version of the Mattel. I think this was this Signature Collection, or was this like DC Unlimited? What was the line called? I don't remember when this one exactly came out, but this is the New 52 depiction of Batman, and so he's got a bit of a different sculpt. He's got the shorter ears. This version, of course, is wearing quote-unquote armor, so that's why I went for the metallic version. He's got all the panel lining. I never understood these lines. The lines coming off the bat symbol. I can do with everything else. I don't get these. Can someone explain to me these? What is these anyway? I don't know. He's fine. You know, it's Batman. It's fine. It's not much to say about that one. It's fine. Oh my God. Okay, we're fine. Some people fell, but we're good now. Everyone's hunky-dory. Moving on to the video game realm of things, we have the only like DC Collectibles Arkham figure that I own, which is the Arkham Origins Batman. You're probably thinking like, Anthony, what's like Arkham Origins? That game's not very good. It's like officially the worst of the 4 games. And yeah, you're not wrong. But I like this Batsuit design. I thought this is the way to do realistic Batman, to be honest. Like, you have the big symbol, and you even have like the breakup of the color, like the gray, and this kind of replicates the sort of black undies look. Like, I dig that. He's bulky and he's mean, and he's like, look at that cowl and everything. Like, aesthetically, Arkham Origins works for me. I really dig it. It's the gameplay that's not very good, and the story that's kind of eh. But overall, I like this Batman. I like his utility belt. I like it all. The paint on this figure is really good, of course, because it's a DC Collectibles figure. It's always been a figure where I'm like, do I need this? And then I can never get rid of it. So, and that's kind of the theme with a lot of these Batman figures. But this one will always be one that I keep, I feel. Because I don't know how I could possibly get rid of him. Is this going to work? Oh boy. Sure, that'll work. Look, it's Ninja Batman. What's up with this guy, right? So this came in a 2-pack with a Nightwing figure that I needed because I collect Nightwing figures. Dick Grayson figures, but Nightwing mainly. And he's got like this sash with like, I guess these are batarangs, and he's got like a blue symbol. Like, I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it's weird. Like, so it's like a shiny metallic cape, and he's got like bandages on. Like he's like Iron Fist or something. Like, I don't know what he is. He's got like a gray but silver, and it's black. I don't know what this is, but once again, I don't know if I can get rid of this, honestly. I really like it. It's cool. Why am I doing this voice? But maybe this is how this Batman sounds. He goes, "Hi, I'm Batman. I'm gonna get you with my ninja stars that I can't remove. I'll just slice you with it." Anyways, so Batman, he's a ninja. Literally. Sure. Next, we have the first Batman figure that I got in my modern collecting days. This is the first DC Universe Classics Batman figure. This is one of the first Batman figures I ever ordered online. I mean, it is the first Batman figure I ever ordered online. It is the DC Universe Classics Batman. So this was a single-carded figure, one of the earlier waves. He's got a really tiny logo. He looks super buff, as a lot of these figures do. I think the logo makes him look buffer than he actually is, to be honest. Because that guy back there is the same, but he's got a bigger symbol, so what gives? But I love this guy. I will always love this guy. This is Batman, and I'm so happy to have him. This is the Batman I use in my Justice League display. This is, like I said, this was the first Batman of this scale where I was like, okay, I'm going to start collecting these guys. Let's start with Batman. And I'm so happy that I did. I really, really love this guy. He's awesome. I dig him. And that's why he goes in the center, if he can. Last figures we have are going to be a little different, a little special, if you will. And, you know, it's let's just take a look at what we've got so far. It's a nice collection of boys, I will say. But it can't be complete without Corn on the Cob and PB&J. So these Batman figures are from Batman and Robin, the film, even though this figure, fun fact, is technically a repaint and slight remold of a figure released in Batman Forever. So this is Batman. He's got a pretty awesome suit. He's powered by peanut butter and jelly, and he's happy about it. He's got his fist in the air. He's rocking out. His head can move like this. Bet you've never seen that before. That's articulation. Look at this. Go! And he can turn. So that's really cool. So Batman, he's awesome. And of course, you have Corn on the Cob. So he's also rocking the fist. He's punching dudes left and right. And he's got the corn built into the suit. So when he needs a healthy snack, You can just reach in and go, like he's that great. This figure, he does not have the rocking movement, but he can turn, so we can look over there and see if anybody needs some corn. He can look over there to see if anyone needs some cob. So yeah, he's great. I don't know what I think he may have shot something with a big back like device like this, and it was like, when it was like, nobody need corn. So yeah, Batman is pretty cool, and I dig him. I'm happy with them. Yeah. So there you guys go. There's my Batman collection. I really hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave comments down below of your favorite Batman figures. And if you have a Batman collection, maybe make a video about it. Maybe take some photos, post them on Instagram. I'm on Instagram and Twitter as @AnthonyLantern. Check out my other videos. Check out my Superman collection. If you haven't, check out other reviews. But this has been Anthony Reviews, and I will see you guys later.